Можемо розпочинати? Чути? Доброго дня всім.
Good afternoon, everyone. So let's continue our customs platform, and the next panel is dedicated to AEOs. We have invited speakers, and first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Rostislav Rudnik. I'm director of the Department of Authorization of the State Customs Service. And just a few words as an introduction, so there could be some repetitions after the first panel, but I would like to note the progress of the AEO program since it was launched. So it was first introduced in 2020, and then there was Big Bang in 2023. We have 117 active AEOs at the moment, including 5 that have AEOS certificate. And I think that you will agree with me when I say that an AEO is not just about some status. This is about the partnership between businesses and the state. So this is our trust to compliant companies for them to be more comfortable in their work, and this is an example of the best practices of the EU and the part of our EU integration. I'm not going to list all the simplifications. There was the number about automatized clearance, and that is around like 15% of from the general clearance, and AEOS is very important. We have 5 active AEOs and 3 are in progress. These are rather promising, and as soon as we reach the level of 10, we can move to the level of mutual agreements with the EU member states. And I'd like also to note that when it comes to the preparation to obtain an AO status, this is a chance for a company to have such a self-screening to understand whether their processes are in line with the EU requirements. Will it be easy for them or not? And this is also a chance to introduce some improvements at the facilities of the companies, because we have such a feedback that during preparation our companies can see a lot of gaps that were rectified and that improved the activities of our companies. So the Q&A session will be after the panel, closer to the end. And as for online questions, please leave them in our chat. We will collect them and you will get answers later on. And now I will like to get to our companies, our speakers. We have, for example, company Zambler Ukraina, Yulia Klopotyuk, which is a logistics operator. So this is the part of Zambler Group providing different transportation services, storage services. This company is representative in several states. The company has received AOS certificate. And for logistics companies, of course, this is a chance to increase their level of their competitiveness and transparency. And Yulia, just a few words about your company. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Good afternoon, dear partners. Perhaps you've heard about our company because we are a Ukrainian operator providing the full spectrum, the full range of logistic services, starting from the road transportation, sea transport, air transport, customs broker services and storage services. Our company is presented in 3-4 countries: Ukraine, Poland, Kazakhstan, and China. Nowadays, we are actively developing, we're opening new areas of our activities. 470 employees are from Ukraine, and generally for all our branches, this is around 3,500 persons. Every day, Zamler Ukraine opens new activities, new areas. And for example, the latest one, this is the authorization of customs representative and the launch of a broker cabinet. This is a rather interesting IT solution. We're implementing this. This helps our clients to monitor the status of their goods from the whole way. And we started our development since 27. As for AEO area, as soon as this institute was mentioned in Ukraine, as well as simplification and integration with the EU, we started actively monitoring this issue and getting ready to getting this status. In 2023, we had a general meeting of the company with all the representatives and the heads of the units, representatives of the storage area, customs area, and we discussed whether we needed this. And back then we understood that will be a reputational leap for us because most European EU companies that will select a contractor will look for these AEO criteria. In 2023, we started filling out self-assessment questionnaire. We involved all employees of our companies in this process. We developed new procedures, new policies, new rules to ensure better operation. And nowadays, we're sure that we're in line with all EU standards. We have assessed numerous times by our customs service. We also have internal audit for every month, every quarter. And generally, we can say that we move
Таке питання.
forward.
Чи статус АЕО
And I
впливає
have a
на
question.
взаємодію клієнтами?
Does
Чи
IO
звертають клієнти
status
увагу
affect
саме на
your
цей статус
cooperation with
вашої
your
грошової
clients? Is it
безпеки?
important for your clients, for your customers? Yes, generally, yes. When it comes to 2023, 2024, that question was not that popular. But when it comes to tenders in which we participated in 2024, 2025, one of the mandatory requirement, especially for EU companies. This is the certificate of AOC, AOS, and the selection depends on these status. And those companies who see that we have AOS certificate, they have less audits for us. So they confirm our safety and security, the protection of the documents, backup
Дуже
system.
дякую.
They say that we can
Далі я
get
хотів
to the
перейти до
next stage.
компанії
Thank you very much. And now I
добровідомничий
would
дім
like
Укрпол. У нас Роман
give
Патуляк,
floor to
представник.
Ukrpol. We have
Компанія не
Roman
просто
Patulyak
є
with us.
виробником
This is
поліграфів і
not
профілки,
just a
вони фактично
manufacturer
є
of
ланкою для сотень
polygraphic
інших
products and
виробників.
packaging. This is a
І
very
головна
important
деталь,
link for hundreds of
ця
other
компанія, хоч і
manufacturers.
перевізник,
And
вона перша отримала
this
статус
company is
АЕО
not a carrier,
вперше.
but it was the first to receive AOS
Ваші результати
certificate.
досить
So your
вражаючі. У вас
results
понад
are
1000
rather
оформлень за
impressive. You
місце
have
знаходження і
around
так нарахували скорочення часу
1,000
оформлення у вас
clearance
не до
the spot, and
1%.
we can
Скажіть,
see
будь ласка,
the
пару слів про
27
компанію.
decrease in the clearance time. Just a few words about
Добрий
company.
день.
Thank you.
Так, все вірно, ми є виробничою компанією, яка виготовляє картонну і гнучку
Good
упаковку.
afternoon. Yes, you're right. We produce
товарів. Ця
flexible
упаковка вона
and
є
cardboard
кінцевим продуктом,
packaging.
тобто ви з нею
This
стикаєтеся кожен
packaging
раз, коли ви
is,
заходите
so
в
to say,
супермаркети, в
the
аптеки,
face
купуєте
of
товари, які
goods.
викладені на
You see
полці,
the packaging every
вони
time when
упаковані там
you
або в картон, або
come
в
to a
плівку, і, власне, вони
supermarket
є
or
виробниками
a
цієї
convenience
упаковки.
store. You see that the
Нашій
goods
компанії
are
вже
always
29 років.
packaged. Our company has
І
been active
з
for
самого свого початку
29
своєї
years,
діяльності
and since the
ми
very beginning of our
займалися імпортом, тому
operations,
що
we've been involved
мало що
in
для поліграфії виробляється в
importing
Україні, як
because not so many
обладнання, так і
goods,
сировини.
not so much equipment and
Десь
raw
пізніше ми
materials
зрозуміли,
for
що
our
для
business are produced in
успішного розвитку
Ukraine.
нашої
That's why we
компанії
had
нам
to
потрібен
import them.
експорт.
And
Ми
at
вже
some point,
займаємося
we realized that we needed
10
also
років,
exporting operations. So
експортуємо нашу
as of
продукцію
now,
за
for
кордон.
nearly
Тому у нас
10
така
years, we've
довга
been
історія
exporting
взаємодії з
our
митницею.
goods abroad. That's
І
why we have a
коли
very long
почули,
history
що
of
є
interaction with the
можливість
customs service.
цю
And as soon
взаємодію
as we
зробити
learned
більш
that
швидшою, більш
there was an
прозорішою,
opportunity to
тому ми так активно
um,
включилися
speed up
в цей
this
процес.
cooperation, this interaction to make it more transparent, we immediately joined the program, and we received lots of support from the customs service, from the Lviv department, and from the central office in Kiev. And as you have rightly said, we managed to become the first company to receive AEO status. Oh, thank you very much. So the next question, what's the competitive advantage for you as an AEO? So we really have some advantages, and they have several dimensions. In terms of the strategic advantages, we enjoy more trust as an AEO company. For instance, when we negotiate with the potential companies, potential partners, they immediately perceive us as a reliable partner. So this status removes certain barriers in communication immediately. And the second factor is competitive advantage. Our economy develops very fast, and the companies also have to act very quickly, about prices, about price of equipment, price of raw materials. Everything costs as much as in the EU for us. But what is our competitive advantage under the circumstances? That's the speed or the promptness at all stages of manufacturing. That's why it's really valuable that the customs service provides us faster clearance. So we do not experience any logistic delays. That's why managed to speed up a shipment of our manufactured goods. So this is a big advantage for us. So what a European company completes within a month, we can complete within a couple of weeks. Thank you very much. Another interesting company and its representative, Vasil Markevich. This is a global player, so to say. This is a manufacturing company, and they have so far completed 6,000 declarations at the place of location. So over. Thank you very much. Modern Expo is a manufacturer of modern retailers, modern equipment for retailers. At the moment, we are an international group of companies which supplies goods to over 70 countries all across the globe. At the same time, we're a Ukrainian company. Our headquarters is located in Ukraine and in Lutsk in particular. At the moment, we employ over 2,300 highly qualified employees in the central headquarters. Altogether, we have nearly 30,000 employees all across Europe and Middle East. We employ principles of agility, and that's why we are interested in sticking to deadlines and speeding up the processes, the production processes. So we have to submit dozens of various types of declarations on a daily basis, and clearance is a critical part of our activity. That's why improvement of this very component is one of key prerequisites of our company's success. With better customs clearance, we can better forecast our operations, and we can optimize our costs, and thus will become more lucrative, more attractive for our customers. Our company's motto is "Go Modern." I think that those two words correlate pretty well with the concept of AEO. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your performance is really impressive, and it's a very interesting example. And now, next company, Epicenter K, and Ms. Yulia is the representative of this company. Epicenter is one of the hugest retailers in Ukraine. It employs 38,000 employees. It's like a small township. And your company has been very successful in applying the simplified procedures, and your statistics are also very impressive. You have already managed to submit 3,000 simplified declarations, and the large portion was completed in an automated mode. And since the company is very huge, it's very important to have a smooth operations. So please let us know more about your success story. Yeah, good afternoon. Indeed, our company has had totally different formats. We started as a construction materials hypermarket. Now we have a network of entertainment facilities. We have also our own production. We supply equipment, and this means that we act in different capacities as an importer, as an exporter as well. And that's why we, of course, are highly interested in trustworthy relationship with the authorities and customs service in particular. Over our history, throughout our history, we've always tried to be transparent. We valued our transparency and our visibility. And as the war started, we made a radical decision. We decided to change the business model of the company. This transformation process entailed a reformatting of all other processes, including the IT processes. And of course, we had to audit the entire company. The company is huge indeed. You mentioned that 38,000 of employees. We had to explain the value of our new status to everyone. We wanted to prove that this was the choice in favor of transparency and good reputation. Thank you very much. Yeah, you have mentioned transformations and internal audits. So the question is as follows: whether your companies were ready for this transition at the time of the self-assessment of the screening, and how much did it cost you in terms of resources? Well, of course, this status was not granted overnight. We had to before that, we also had to comply with several international standards, and we knew very well that the standards were our Bible, and that we had also to complete all the procedures to get the compliance certificate. And then we started making ourselves ready for AEO status, and in the course of screening, we revealed some gaps, some issues, in particular in the area of warehouse management. And as a result of screening, we managed to eliminate all those gaps. Thank you. In fact, I believe we were pretty ready for the status. However, the self-screening helped us to improve our internal processes. At that time, we already had some IT system by which we coordinated all our processes, including logistics and accounting. But we reviewed all our processes from different points of view. We know that export-oriented strategies are important for the wholesale business, while the retail business is focusing on some other processes. And every person inside the chain should be aware of his or her responsibilities, should be clear of new changes. And that's why we all had to explain everything. We know that there is no limit for improvement. The companies may be changing from year to year, and the new tools appear, and we have to master them. Thank you. And now I have a question to Ms. Klopotyuk. Your company is a AOE, AOEB, and does this status allow you to reduce the delivery time, reduce your costs, and speed up processing of cargo flows?
Насправді досить така цікава аналітика.
In
Напевно,
fact,
в першу чергу впливає не лише наявність статусу
we
АЕОБ,
have very
а безпосередньо
interesting
наявність авторизації, які має АЕО С
statistics.
і АЕОБ, і безпосередньо наявність
AO,
спрощень, які ми
B,
отримали.
and
Відповідно
C
до Митного
status
кодексу, що відповідно до
altogether
МЗС.
contribute
Якщо говорити
to
практичними
our
цифрами, ми почали працювати активно саме з
success.
використанням наших
We
авторизацій
have
в 2026
started
році. Тобто,
working
так,
actively
спершу
with
раніше,
use of
на
our
часі новинки,
authorizations
ми запровадили
in
новий процес.
2026. So
Тобто станом на
since
сьогодні
January
ми оформили
2026, we
понад
have
100 декларацій
implemented new
саме за
processes.
місяць
As of
січень, і
now, we
відповідно понад
have
100 декларацій з
completed
використанням
over
системи NCTS.
100
Що нам це дає?
declarations at
В
the
першу
place of
чергу
location
це
and over
економить
100
кошти наших
payments
клієнтів,
of
оскільки
NCTS.
клієнти не
Thus, we
сплачують
can
кошти за
save
заїзд на
time and
термінал.
money
Тобто,
of
коли
our
ми говоримо взагалі
customers because
про
they don't have to spend
статистику,
time
яка є на сьогодні, дуже часто ми
going through
стикаємося
the
з
terminal.
пробками,
And
затримками,
we
коли
know that
автомобіль просто не може
the
заїхати в зону митного контролю.
cars
Зазвичай
often have to
це
queue
створює
in
певні
front of
логістичні
the
ризики. Тобто
customs
транспортний засіб,
control
коли йому дається на
zone, and
розміщенні і розвантаженні 24
this
години, він
is the
зовсім не
source
вкладається
of
всі ці
many
нюанси.
risks.
Тому, коли ми говоримо
Sometimes the
про оформлення за місцем знаходження, автомобіль
um,
проїхав і фактично протягом
the
2-4 годин
vehicles need
автомобіль
more than
розвантажений,
24
автомобіль фактично
hours.
розміщений на склад і
But
відпущений. Тобто
in
тут, в
our
принципі, є
situation,
прорив, є
once
економія. Тобто,
uh,
якщо раніше у нас було
our
24 години
cargo
на оформлення
arrives,
і
it gets directly to
відпущення машини,
the
зараз у нас це
warehouse,
2-4
and
години.
then the
Далі, які ще
driver
переваги у
is
нас є?
free, so to
Їх, в
say,
принципі, ми
after
також
all loading and
розглянемо.
unloading operations.
Можливість
And
перевірки товару,
then we
оскільки
also have
автомобіль новий.
another benefit.
Фактично клієнти,
We
коли роблять
can
замовлення, вони
inspect
фактично не ведуть
the
обліку того, завантажений цей товар
cargoes.
в машину чи ні. І от
The
саме використання оформлення за місцем
customers
знаходження, як
usually
для
do
мене, для
not
нашої
check
компанії, це дійсно
whether
класна
the
можливість перевірити
goods
дійсно все, що ви
are
замовили, все, що
loaded
зазначено в документах,
in
пройшло всі
accordance
процеси.
with the
Відповідно,
document.
ми
But
маємо
we
право
can
подати
do it.
інформацію про те,
We
чи є
can
розбіжності.
check
Ми
everything.
маємо
And
право
we
подати
also
безпосередньо
have the right
інформацію
to
про той
report
товар,
the
який фактично
discrepancies,
надійшов
and
до
we
клієнта.
have to
Тому,
report the
чесно,
goods
так,
which we
переваги
have
є, спрощення
actually
є,
arrived,
економія є,
received. So
ефект і
this
цифра.
is a
І
very
тому,
big
чесно,
advantage.
ми
We
закликаємо всіх наших
save
клієнтів, які на
time, we
сьогоднішній
save
день зберігають
costs
на
and
нашому складі,
efforts.
до
That's
оформлення
why
саме
we
за
are
місцем
urging
знаходження.
all our customers that use our warehouse to accomplish the clearance at the place of location. Thank you. Yeah, as far as I understand, this practice is one of the most interesting. And could you please compare the situation before and after you have introduced this type of clearance? Maybe there are some additional aspects we are not aware of. For our company, this simplification has become especially crucial because we can save time and we can predict the deliveries. We cannot, of course, influence the queues at the border, but at least we can anticipate when some goods will be delivered. And when we plan also the layout of our networks, we can be guided by this information. We save a lot of time, and these savings grow from month to month, because if time is saved, then money is saved as well. And every manufacturer, any exporter, any retailer would agree, because speed is what matters most for them. Okay, thank you. Maybe someone else? I would like to share as well. We are an exporting company, first of all, and we use the release at the place of location procedure, and the goods are sealed also at the same time. Thus, we save a lot of time for clearance. In fact, we can save from several hours to 24 hours, because the vehicles don't have to go to the customs terminal, and we do not waste time. We just load the goods, fill out the documents, complete the clearance, and then the car goes. It's also about the money.
Автоматичне оформлення – це от останній рік.
Automotive clearance. Can you feel the results? Can you see a reduction of time? Yes, but if we compare this with other simplifications envisaged for AEOs, it is not that vivid, so to say, if we compare to other tools that AEOs can get. Yes, of course, so this automated declaring is there, so there is no human factor, so of course it is positive. I have one more question about simplifications related to guarantees, like guarantee waiver, etc., depending on what you use. Just when it comes to individual guarantees and general guarantee, can you feel any improvement? I do understand it is difficult to just say some numbers at the moment, just generally. As for comprehensive and individual guarantees, we don't have it at the moment, but would like to get it. But if we compare indicators or shares that we have before comprehensive guarantee and after, the difference is 0.5%, because we have comprehensive guarantee and don't have individual guarantee. That's for every guarantee we just save 500 hryvnias. Thank you. Just this is a significant number. I have one more question, perhaps to all panelists. Let's imagine that someone asks you about AEO status. It could be like your friends, neighbors, other companies. What would you recommend them? What should they start with first, and what should they do? So, you know, sometimes we are afraid to do something, but we still do it. But it is very important to have maybe not a whole team, but at least one person within a company that could be focused precisely on this task. So when it comes to our company, the preparation to AEO status, it took around 10 months. And before that, we had clearly defined business process, we had clear rules and procedures, but it also took 10 months for us. That's why you need to have at least one person who would encourage all others to work. I'd like to add here, and I'm a person responsible for customs issues, and this is a very important element for the companies who want to use simplifications or to get a status. So you can invite some outward consultant to support you, to give advice, but without a person within a company just having a clear understanding of what is needed, what documents shall be submitted, what are the tasks and roles of other peoples, a person who could report about changes and who could be responsible for all the interactions. It is very difficult because such a person, this is an intermediate between businesses and us as a service. A lot of companies actually understood all the benefits after they had received the status. We are a manufacturer, and for us, the reliability and the possibility to meet all the deadlines are very important. So when you need to dispatch your products on Friday, and of course, a customs procedure can take a lot of time, and for example, there could be some delay, and we cannot ship on Friday, but we ship on Monday. And for us, it's okay, but it is not okay for a customer, because if someone is shipped on Monday, then a customer will be able to receive it only on Wednesday. That's why this simplification with customs clearance, this is actually increase our reliability. As for my advice to other companies who'd like to receive such a status, I'd like to say that a company should be ready for quite deep assessment. We were the second to receive the status, and now we have 117 companies, and it is great that businesses now feel more trust into the state, and that we can see an increasing number of companies who'd like to work with these status. So this is about safety, this is about security, this is about predictability, and I would like to see more Ukrainian companies, regardless of whether they're exporters or importers, to get such a status. Just to be able to assess themselves, just to push up these difficult processes, to be able to hire qualified experts who know how to communicate with the state customs service, how to provide advice to their own colleagues within the company. So to learn more about legislation, to get the knowledge needed. Without these people, it is impossible to move on and to launch any process, even if when it comes about audit. So you need to demonstrate everything, how to work, how your company works. So as for my own experience, after we got authorization, we received numerous questions about what should they start with, and so first of all, I'd like to recommend you just to say that first of all you need to visit the website of the State Customs Service, because they have published enormous number of materials, their presentations, their additional articles, etc. Moreover, I've watched a lot of workshops organized by the State Customs Service, and I can see now the representatives of the service, and I remember all of you actually, and I still have some records of those webinars and workshops on YouTube channel of the State Customs Service. This is your basis, this is the fundamentals you should start with. And then if you feel that your capacity, you can do this on your own. If you're afraid or if you want to save some time, you can hire a consultant, but you really need to have this self-assessment of the whole company, of all units. And my personal life hack, we had a team dedicated to the authorization, and the most efficient member of this team was our internal auditor. So he had this auditor's point of view on everything. Thank you very much. This is really very important because this self-assessment, self-audit of the company at the initial stage of getting ready to submit an application for an AEO status, allows a company to get ready. And here I would like to repeat myself. This is really very important. And from our side, we really try just to cooperate with you. Thank you very much for promoting the website of the State Customs Service. So because we always update it, we try to publish some new information, we try to improve our website. And a small life hack about how you can connect with an operator. You can start with simplifications, and then step by step you will get to an operator. It is very important. A lot of companies like have already some simplifications, but they have not applied for an authorized operator status. So you now have a possibility to obtain this status because before the new customs code is adopted, and you will become a member of an AO family. You can use these simplifications, and you will be in line with the safety and security standards. So thank you very much. We still have time just for a question, for questions for some questions from the audience, or perhaps the questions to the speakers or to our service.
Добрий день. Питання з гальорки.
Good afternoon. I have a question from a back row. I'm representing company Aurora Multi-Market. Thank you very much for all your insights. Thank you very much for this event, who for the first time over some period has gathered so many people, so many stakeholders. The question to you, Rostislav, about the future, about dimensions. We were 110th company that received the status. I know this, but not everyone knows, perhaps because that was quite a difficult task. I have a question about importation. What possibilities do you see for other areas, and what the prospects you can see here? And the second question, an AO status without simplifications does not provide so many benefits as simplifications. And the most popular simplification is on-site clearance. What is the future of this element, taking into account the new customs code of Ukraine, the adoption of UCC by Ukraine, because the procedure is a bit different there in the UCC. I'll be thankful for your comments. Thank you. I'd like to thank the company, the representative of the company, for the question. As for the company, that was a rather interesting case because the company prepared on its own and by small steps. And everything was so well prepared that the audit just confirmed, external audit just confirmed the readiness of the company to obtain a status. As for the development of the AO program, so we are only at the initial stage now. So it's like 0.1% from all the operators, or a quarter of this percentage. Our head helps me here. So this is about the number of companies who have this status. But when it comes to the EU, and you can see this on the website Europa, so there's information about around 8,000 operators using these status. So for us, a big challenge is not only that we need to continue our work in granting these statuses and also an audit of the compliance of the companies, but also the ongoing monitoring, because we don't have a lot of companies at the moment. But when we will be on the next stage with a significant number of companies, then the first challenge that we will face will be a lack of human resources. And we will then apply to the maximum extent possible risk-oriented approach to be able to continue this monitoring. As for on-site release of goods, we don't see any significant changes in the future. Just when it comes to the placement of goods, we can use different opportunities for the placement in your premises. But the simplification as it is will not be significantly changed. There will be no significant modifications. And actually, I can say that this simplification will be one of the most popular. And this simplification also demonstrates that a lot of companies, they received these custom storages, the temporary storages, but as for on-site customs clearance, they don't need it anymore because they can place their goods under other procedure, like the procedure of storage in their premises. And the customs service fully trusts the company because it has already been assessed, audited, and has already received a status. But everything depends on the internal processes that were declared at the stage when the company was granted these status. Any other questions?
Добрий день, шановні учасники митної платформи. Ілля
Good
Зібницький,
afternoon, dear
директор
participants of the customs platform. Ilya Zubnitsky, the director of Association of Customs Brokers of Ukraine. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for such a great event. We can see a lot of prominent persons here. An AEO institute has like two sides. On the one hand, we have a state that has prepared this and continues improving difficult process for this tool to be accessible for our foreign economic operators. But on the other hand, we have foreign economic operators who create conditions to get the status and to become better for their customers, to pay more taxes, and to be best of the best in the area. I have a question. Are there any significant changes in your relation with the customs brokers after you got a status? This is a question to our panelists. It is difficult for me to say whether we've seen a lot of changes because inside our structure we have a broker company and that was trained and actually there are no like changes significant because our brokers they love working with simplifications because it really simplifies their lives. They don't spend so much time now for all these formalities. Thank you. I've got a small customs clearance unit within the company who deals with declaration and the best brokers in the world are my brokers. I can argue this. We have like a rather small unit and I am a logistics director and also have the function of the head of this customs clearance unit. Generally, we can see that it's easier for brokers. I know this for sure, and I also know for sure that they now submit more declarations. And we can look at our statistics on a year-to-year basis. So we can see an increasing number of declarations, but the brokers are the same. So the amount of brokers is the same. For example, last year we had 1,600 declarations T1 for our own export, and this year I will not surprised if we'll have 2,000, 3,000 declarations. My brokers are capable of this and they don't face any challenges. Would you like to add something here? Okay, any other questions from our audience? I don't see any raised hands, and now I would like to come back to the question of brokers and relations with the state customs service. There is one interesting thing here when it comes to authorization of brokers, because this is a big task, and we have several thousand permissions for broker activities, and that is rather challenging for the state customs service because we are limited in our human resources. We have 8 persons involved in the assessment of brokers, and we tried to involve as many people as possible within our service. We've also involved the coordination and monitoring customs office, and we can see that we have already completed all these activities related to brokers, and the latest analysis demonstrates that most big brokers have already received authorization, or so they are in the process, so there is the compliance assessment, or they have already submitted an application to our service. But anyway, we will expect a lot of new applications, and we really understand that we do everything possible for this Institute of Customs Brokers, and the brokers, which are the part of a company, could really continue the activities. And I think that this information will be interesting for associations. I can see one more raised hand here. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Vadim Жеребец, Pentada companies group. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I have a following question for you. So now the most important element to make a decision whether we should apply for an AEO status or not is simple maths. So we made our known assessment, and our calculations demonstrate that a company can save around 10–20% after introducing this AEO institute. These are due to simplifications in logistics, in document flow. You are the companies who have already received this status. How can you assess and percentage the economic impact on your activities?
It's very difficult to give you precise percentage, but of course we can calculate each and every vehicle arriving in terminal. Anyway, every day those simplifications yield some financial result with every simplified declaration. As mentioned before, we also have time gain. We reduce our costs, but it's not about perhaps the percentage, it's about the easiness of planning, it's about predictability. We can calculate how many declarations were completed without involvement of inspectors or other employees. So the level of gain is pretty high, and we as the users are very satisfied. But you have asked the right question. We really have to express this gain in mathematical terms, in percentages. You know, the strategic development of any company is invaluable. So this transition means a contribution to the strategic potential of the company. How can we calculate the precise percentage? Last year, my department, my clearance department, completed nearly 100% of declarations on the same day. And There were no delays, no procrastination, and there was not a single time when we disrupted the delivery or our manufacturing processes as a result of clearance delays. But who knows how much time and money the brokers save. Well, you know about those 4,000 declarations you can calculate. It's very difficult to calculate the precise percentage, and this transition is a very time-consuming process. Maybe it's possible to calculate only if you refuse from AOE status and make calculations for the next month. Well, we are the customs brokers that provide services to the customers, and we also run the statistics. We managed to complete 100 simplified declarations, and for our customers, it means 50% of saving. Let's say the customers had to spend for about 105,000, but now they have to spend nearly 75,000 hryvnias. My name is Sergey Tusa. I represent the Customs Broker Journal, and I'm very glad to see you, first of all. And I have the following question. You have received your AOE status. You have also people, your employees who would like to use the benefits of AOE. How do you work with these people to make them not question the AOE status? We have 10 brokers now. Maybe it's not too many vice versa. But honestly, our brokers are the best. And of course, for every company, their employees are the best. And we always try to incentivize our employees by means of salaries and KPIs. Secondly, we try to explain to our employees that it's all about the European integration and our future. Later on, AOE will be a filter for brokers who are able to accomplish customs clearance fast and smoothly. So we are ready to keep pace with the European integration and the customs service development. It's a very difficult question, yes, indeed, because the resources are scarce and people tend to select a company or a manager that fits their purposes. If a company is privileged, they are willing to choose this company because they will find it easier to work there. So people are eager to see some optimization. That's why this status also is attractive for the potential candidates. It's a very sensitive issue, in fact. Once you have AOE status, you can state that this is a proof of maturity, the company's maturity. This means that the company is ready to work in line with the EU standards. Thank you. One more question from the audience. What would you recommend to the customs service? Because here we have many colleagues who are directly in charge of these functions implementation. So what recommendations would you provide for us to improve our workflows? You know, it's difficult to recommend anything. I think that we need to maintain the constructive dialogue, and usually all our proposals and comments are taken into account, and we are grateful for that. Of course, there are some issues, and we are dreaming of getting rid of those problems. Everyone who has a status is dreaming of new simplifications. So there will be no recommendations. We just have to continue to keep this open dialogue between the business and the state. This is the most important thing. Thank you.
з митницею я чув, що все ж таки є якісь ще
I have heard from a person who is in charge of clearance that there are still some manual processes. I cannot give you the precise description of those processes, which are still manual. But anyway, some things should be still done manually by inspectors, and it was very pleasant for business to hear from the high rank speakers that this electronic electronic waiting list is being discussed at the highest level, and something is promised to be done. We communicate with the State Customs Service via the Federation of Employers, and we are regularly engaged in communication, and the work is ongoing. Thank you. Thank you for cooperation. The only thing we wish is to launch the automated import clearance, because this takes a lot of time. Thank you very much. It's really pleasant to get this positive feedback regarding cooperation and communication. You know about the novelties, about import declaration clearance. It's been launched just in March, and the work is underway. We have regular meetings with the Ministry of Finance, and we'll see how we can launch this procedure. We have to approach it on a step-by-step basis. Thank you very much. We have listened to the real stories of living companies. We learned about their transformation, about their journey, and now we know that AEO is about money, is about time, and also about maturity. And now we are also on the verge of the mutual recognition of the companies. So many companies have already understood what it means to conduct the self-screening. The self-screening is for optimization and not only for being granted a status. The companies that have already received the AOEC status will find it easier to get AOEB status. I think that those panelists are potential candidates for the mutual recognition program. Thank you very much. It was very pleasant to see you, to listen to you. And okay, we have one more question. Hello, my name is Natala Savanchuk. We are manufacturers, exporters, and importers. We import declarations have to be automated, and the preliminary declarations also should be automated, and our customers often complain that we procrastinate. So please consider automation of all preliminary declarations as well. Well, Your company is, by the way, the pioneer of OB process. Well, we are very open and we, however, find some difficulties in the field of IT. We have our own IT systems, but we try to support you as much as possible. For instance, yesterday we faced a problem and we immediately managed to extinguish this fire. I think that it would take us too long to apply to outsource companies. We have to do it ourselves. Thank you very much, and we will be looking forward to the next panel.